In October, when we launched Dark Power Pro 12 with 1200 and 1500 watt versions, one of the most frequent comments on our social media channels was, "Whoever needs so much power?" Well, our currently sold out inventory tells us there are definitely system requirements out there that justify even a 1500 watt power supply. On paper, the Intel i9-10900X is rated at 165 watts TDP, but like its brother, the 10900K, the 10-core proves to be an utter overclocking monster and in fact one of the most power-hungry of CPUs. The basic 3.7 GHz clock can certainly be overclocked to 4.5 GHz, and that would clearly exceed the 165 watt rating. The 2066 socket is also ideal as a base for the two graphics cards in SLI mode, and these require a 4-slot spacing, which limits the motherboard selection. Here we opted for the Creator X299 from MSI. And of course the graphics cards. Here we will install the two pallet GeForce RTX 3090 Gaming Pro OC cards, which require 350 watts each, according to the manufacturer's specifications. Let's see how high we can run up our power bill with these two beauties. We can precisely measure the total power supply to the computer with our power consumption instrument. And we see already that a power consumption of over 290 watts is quite lavish in Prime 95 with a moderate overclocking of 4.5 GHz. Now let's increase our power consumption by running both graphics cards in SLI mode and moderately overclocking the two GPUs. Here we achieve not only gorgeous pictures on a 4K monitor, but also almost 880 watts of power hunger when running Red Dead Redemption 2 with nearly all possibilities for graphics enhancement, such as maximum super sampling with everything on ultra, except for motion blur, which actually nobody needs. In games, the performance of CPU and GPU varies significantly, which is why we now shift up a gear and start a rendering task in Blender for which the CPU and both GPUs run under full load. The rendering performance of this infernal machine is enormous. The computer manages to render an image in only 37 seconds. At 24 frames per second, our monster would need just 15 hours to render 1 minute of film. That's crazy. In another project, we saw extreme differences in what is calculated at which point. For the hair, for example, we reached power peaks of 1049 watts. Nonetheless, there are graphic card models that draw even more power, system configurations that are equipped with more memory, extra hard drives, LEDs and peripherals, and smartphones are also able to be fast charged via USB and so on and so on. Thus, a 1200 watt supply is certainly the minimum for just this setup. And what we did not try in this case was to run several tasks at the same time, which would naturally attain a maximum in power demand. Apart from the titanium efficiency, the digital control, the technology built in and the extreme longevity and reliability of the Dark Power Pro 12, there are definitely systems that not only want to impress with the shiny power supply, but actually need its high performance. A bit of power in reserve is always important because you never want to run a power supply close to its maximum. This certainly justifies having a 1500 watt version for the Dark Power Pro 12, and it has already found plenty of enthusiasts. Oh yes, these systems are definitely something for enthusiasts. With this in mind, stay quiet.